Well, I think for me, I've got to go back to prophecies that the Lord had spoken, several years ago. And I'm thinking of all the way back to 2022 and 2023, where the Spirit of God began to declare that He was going to insert Himself in the earth, and that there would be a strange peace that would come in the earth, because peace is God. God is the ultimate manifestation of what true peace is. And God said, I'm going to insert myself, and there's a strange peace that's going to come. And then if you fast forward, He begins to talk about in 2025 that there would be this strange peace. He continues this narrative, but it's going to even be seen among the Arab nations, and it's going to bring Israel together, and there's going to be some handshakes and coming to the table. And the Lord said, this is not the war that is going to end all wars, and that we weren't to get into fear. We weren't even to let eschatology get in the way of what God is doing. And then what's interesting is on October 8th, the day after the October 7th attack, God said, Israel, there's a strange peace that's coming. Then He repeats it again on the 15th, 8 days after the attack, and says there's coming an expansion, Israel, to you, and you will be given what you deserve. An expansion for the state of Israel. So I think this is all going to play out. My only thing, Flashpoint Army, that I really do believe we have to do is we need to pray for the advisors, the counselors that are speaking in the ears of Netanyahu and President Trump, that there really is not this two-state solution. I think that is where the warfare is. It's not in God's redemptive plan and what He's speaking. It's in who's talking in the ears of these men. Because at the time in 2016, this wasn't even being mentioned, Donald Trump and Cyrus. God spoke that to Lance Wallnau, put it in his spirit, and Lance began to write a book, The Chaos Candidate, began to talk about this thing with this Cyrus, and it was really new. And bringing such a articulation between Isaiah 45 is where you read this, and this 45th president that would arise. And if you look at the different verses, and I encourage the Flashpoint Army to do this and also get Lance's book, you're going to see how this prophetic narrative is being played out today. But I do want to say this last thing about Isaiah 45 that isn't often mentioned. People, will look at Donald Trump and, they accuse different ones, well, you're just worshiping him, or you think he's the Messiah or whatever. And they don't realize that part of Isaiah 45, there's a verse that's hidden in it, and it says, I am the God that hides myself. And what we have to learn to do is see what God is doing. Search it out. Look for the God factor in everything that's happening with Donald Trump and with this connection to Cyrus. And really what Cyrus did was he restored the fortunes back to Zion. And that's really what God is doing. He's listening to the sound of those who have been victimized in the harsh season that we've been in. And He's done something about it. He raised up a deliverer.